to create this section, we are going to simply come back here to our Elementor editor and we'll add a new section. I'm going to name this section to be Hacks Hero. So I'm going to open up my navigator and just name this to be Hacks Hero. We're going to add an icon. So in this case, it's going to be an icon over here. We're going to add two headings. So I'm going to come back here. Wait. First grab my icon. Okay, now it's over there. We're going to add two headings and another heading. And the first heading is basically called training. And the next heading is actually the real heading, which is the call to action heading, ready to travel like a pro. So ready to travel like a pro. I'll align both the headings to be in the center. Then we are going to add something else, and that is going to be our sign up button over here. And once someone clicks on this button, it should bring up a pop-up or a modal box pop-up. And this is where we're going to need another third-party plugin to enable us to add this kind of pop-up in our website without using the pro version of Elementor. So to do that, I'm going to come back over here. Let me first update this section, and I'm going to exit to the dashboard. So I'm going to come over here, exit to the dashboard, come to plugins, install plugins. We're going to come here to our premium add-ons for Elementor. We're going to activate this plugin because it's the one that's going to enable us to create a modal box in the free version of Elementor. And then I'm going to come over here to the menu option for the premium add-ons for Elementor. I'll click on widgets and add-ons. And then we are only going to activate those widgets that we need to be using in this tutorial. In this case, I'm going to first of all switch them all off. And I'm going to first of all only enable the modal box widget, which we need to use currently. So I will scroll down below here, and here we go, modal box. So that's it. So I have my modal box widget activated. Then I'm going to come back here to my pages or pages, and I'm going to open up my page, which is the home page with Elementor. Now, when I come over here to the widgets area and I search for modal, you realize that we have an option called modal box, and it's from the premium add-ons for Elementor. I'll drag that over here to our section. Right, so now we have this button, and now we can get started on creating our section or our call to action section here. First thing I'm going to do is first of all to create this kind of background. So I'm going to first of all select my section. I'm going to come to advanced, and I'm going to give it a padding top and bottom of 100 pixels. Then I'm going to select my column over here, and I'm going to come to style. I'm going to give it a background type, and it's going to be our background color, but I'm going to reduce a little bit on the opacity, something like that. Then I'm going to actually give it also a padding, and it's going to be 100 all over. Under the style option still, come to border, and we're going to give it a border radius of 40. So to give it the rounded border effect, just like you see now. Under style, we're going to give it our accent color. It's going to be 50, the font size, and the weight is going to be 600. Okay, that looks good. Training, I'm going to give this style to be in our black color text. I'm going to first of all select my icon widget, come to the content, come to the library, and I'm going to look up for a star that is outline. So star. We're using this over here. That's it. Then I am going to reduce a bit on the size of that star. Let me just make it like 30. There are no hover effects. I'm going to come to advanced positioning. I'm going to come over here to inline, and I'm going to give it the positioning to be absolute, and I'm going to align it offset to be 700. Let me say 700. I can now also play with the offset just to make it the 12 would look good. So it kind of looks like it's positioned in the center of our section. Alright, so now what we are going to do next is obviously create this button over here, and then once someone clicks on that button, they are taken straight to the pop-up, which is this, the modal pop-up. So I'm going to first of all style up my button. So I'll select my button. Now when someone clicks on this button, there is a title it brings. So we are not going to show a header. In this case, we don't need the header options. We as well going to use an Elementor template, so we don't need to use the text editor. Then we'll be selecting our modal box over here after creating it. But now we simply want to create the style for our button. We can disable that button, the lower button over here. I want it to stay for now, and then the fade in and animation options, we can make them over right here as how our modal box will show up. So when I say fade in right, when I click over here, it will fade in right from the right hand side, but I want it to fade in down, or leave it at the default just like that. And the animation, you can as well make changes over there. But for now, we want to first look into the button options. What will trigger our modal box will be a button, but we can apply this to an image, text, and a lot of other things. But now it's going to be a button, and the button text is going to be this text over right here, sign up now. So to add the text, we're going to say sign up now, and the button size is going to be large and centered. When we come to the style, let's just head over here to the trigger. So the color, so our button won't actually have a background color, so I'm going to come over here, and then I'll simply just remove this to transparent, then come over here to the border. Then I'll add a border, which is going to be a solid border, give it like 2 pixels, and the border color is going to be our gray. And then our padding, first of all, I will unlink. So 20, 40, 20, and 40. So that's the padding. So the border radius over here will be 5. And now when we look into the typography, so we'll make our font size to be 17, uppercase. So I'll simply update. Now let's go and create our modal box pop-up, which is this exact thing over here, this one over here. So how do we do it? We're going to simply come over here to Elementor, and we're going to exit back to our dashboard. So back over here in Elementor, we're going to come over here to Save Templates, and we're going to say add a new template. We're going to make this to be a section, and we're going to say, we're going to call it one-on-one training. So now let's get started with creating our modal box. So we're going to add a section, and that section we're going to give it the width. Let it be 650, the width. Then we're going to add our content in there. We're going to add a title. Let me see what else. A title, and also some text, and also a form over here. We'll add another title. So we add one-on-one travel hacking training, and then we'll add another title. This is going to be the discount offer, 30% off. It's for a limited time only. This is a text widget. Right, so I'll center everything. And this is going to be uppercase. And I'll add some letter spacing of 2. So this will be a big one. Heading. Typography. We'll make this to be 100. Give it 600 as our font weight, and add some letter spacing as well. Then our title, the first one, we are going to make it to be in our text color. We'll give it 35, and font weight of 600. 30 is enough, with some letter spacing. maybe a 1. Alright, so let me first center this as well. Center, and as well center this. Okay, now next what we have to create obviously is our form over here. Before we start creating our form, let me first update this by publishing it. I'm going to exit back to the dashboard so I show you how we actually create a form. So under plugins, we have installed plugins. Do you remember that we installed the Contact Form 7 plugin? Now that is the plugin that we are going to need to actually create this form so that we can be able to collect submissions on these forms inside our email. To do that, we are going to simply come over here to our plugins and activate the Contact Form 7 plugin. Activate that plugin. We have this other menu option over here, and we can say add a new contact form. But there is already an existing contact form, which is this over here. But in this case, we want to create our own by simply saying add a new contact form. And I'm going to name this contact form to be one-on-one training. I'll simply update. Now in this contact form of ours, we have some options. One, we have the email, we want to collect the email, the mobile number, and also schedule a call. Okay, so what we do, simply come back here to our form and we can make some edits. We want to collect a number, which is a telephone number, and it can be required. So over here, I'm going to say insert tag, and we can add a label to that tag. So we can say over here label, and we can say mobile, and then we have to close up the label tag. Now we can collect our mobile number. Then the message option, which is the message section, which is optional. So here we can just rename that to schedule a call and just add the word optional. So we can say schedule a call. All right. Then the subject. No, we don't need to collect the subject. So their email address, their phone number, and then schedule a call. So we even don't need to collect their name. Right, so I'll update this. Okay, so now when I've created our contact form, we get this kind of code or a shortcode that you can always use around in our WordPress website. But in this case, we are going to use another third-party plugin to actually customize this contact form, because if we use it just like this, we will not have the basic styling options. Make it look nice just like you see over here. Let me just show you what I'm trying to explain to you. Now when I come over here and I look up for the shortcode widget from Elementor, which by the way is a beauty, and I'll paste our shortcode, you realize that yes, our form shows up. We can collect the email, the phone number, and also schedule call option, but we don't have the styling options. But like I told you in this tutorial, we are only going to be using free resources. So how do we style up this contact form to look just beautiful as this over here? To do that, I'm going to come back here. I'm going to come to Premium Add-ons for Elementor, and under Premium Add-ons for Elementor in the widgets area, we have the contact form styler, which is this over here. Simply enable it or activate it inside our Elementor editor. I'll simply reload. Now when I search for contact form, I have the contact form 7 widget in here, and I can simply drag it into our editor. Now when I click over here in the drop down, we have our one-on-one training. Awesome. Now what we're going to do is to simply style it up to look just like this. Click over here, come to fields. This is make this to be 80. I'll make this to be 50, and text area will be 100. I'll make the text area just to be like in the demo site to be 80. And then for the button width, this is going to be the width over here will be percentage. I'll make it to be a 30 and the height to be a 50. So under style, for the input background, it's going to be our off-white, and padding will be 20. Border radius will be 10. And the margin, I'll give the bottom to be a 5. For the labels, we're going to change this to our pink. And for the input text color, we'll stay orange. You see now we have our focus border in orange. And for the labels, we have them in this other color. So for the placeholder text, we are going to simply just make it black. For the button, we're going to come over here, give it a padding of 10. Text is going to be white or off-white, and then background is going to be our accent color. On hover, it's going to be the reverse, so text will stay white, and then we have the background color to be our orange color. So I'll update first of all, and then I'm going to make sure that we have placeholder text over here. So I'm going to come back here, I'll open up my contact forms, and then we open up our one-on-one training contact form. When you come over here and, for example, you add a new field, you want that you have the default value added, for example, telephone. And then remember, you also have the label. So when I say like telephone, and then you have to check that use this as placeholder text. So when you say insert, you see now inside these, we have something in quotes. So telephone. And we're going to add, for example, placeholder. And we add the name of that field, for example, message. Placeholder text here is going to be mobile number. I will as well remove all the spacing in between here, because that also increases the spacing in between the form fields, just like you see over right here in between these. Okay, make sure I update my form. I'll come back to my Elementor editor and I will reload. Update my form, one-on-one training, and update. So now we are going to be giving our visitors options to either enter their Zoom ID or their mobile number. Okay, now this is how our form looks like currently. So once you're happy with your form, so you can now do the final touches, for example, like now making sure that everything is padded right inside here by coming over here, select the column. So the padding, I'll give it padding of 50 all over. I'll as well give it a background color. So under style, background type, color, give this, and then we are going to reduce further on the opacity of our background type. So I'm gonna reduce a little bit on the space in between this text over here and the heading. Before we go any further, I want as well to work on the responsive settings of this very pop-up so it will look nice on all devices. So I'll just look at it on the desktop, tablet, and mobile. I'll update. Now I will simply just exit now this template. I will reload the page, and now when I click on this button, it should show our pop-up, but it's not showing. Why? We have to select this button and then we choose which template to show for the Elementor template. So under the button options, under content, so come and select the template you want to use, and it's the one-on-one training. I'll update. Now when I preview this page, scroll down. Now when I click over there, boom, our pop-up shows up. But you don't want to actually be having this white over there, the off-white and all that stuff. I'll copy the background for our model box, the background color, and then I'm going to simply just make it transparent. Then come to our Elementor editor, select our button. Now we are going to come over right here to the style, and for the modal box, background container color is going to be our color code for the background, which is that over there. I'll update. Now since we made this to be transparent, this color won't be showing anymore. So when I come over here to our preview, scroll down, boom, this looks good. Now we have no white running all over. We only have the close button over. I may want to choose that this color is only black for the button. So let me just lower button, background, no background completely, not even on hover, but I'm going to make that text color to be black and still on normal text color to be black. I'll update. Let me look into the preview. Click there. Right, this makes much more sense. The actual home page, this hover color over here for the button should be as well black. So I'm going to come over here, content, okay, style, trigger, color should be gray, and still color on hover should still be gray. So I don't expect that it should show white on hover. Yeah, all right, that looks good. So now people can sign up for my one-on-one training, and I'll receive an email once they submit. Okay, the last thing we have to do is add a Lottie animation over here, just like you see over on this section. So this Lottie animation, first thing we're going to do is simply come back here to our customizer. So by exiting to the dashboard, I'm going to come to the premium add-ons for Elementor, and we're going to enable the Lottie widget, because in Elementor the Lottie widget is in the pro version, but premium add-ons for Elementor brings the Lottie widget for you for free. After activating my Lottie widget, I'll head back into my editor. I'll simply reload, search for the Lottie, premium Lottie animations. I'll drag it over here. I'll choose to use an external file, and I'll paste my link to the Lottie file that I want to use. You can get Lottie files from lottifiles.com. Over right here, you can sign up for free, and you can as well customize your Lottie files, and just simply copy your link and then you can paste it up over right here in Elementor. Anyway, for me now, I want to position my Lottie. I'm going to come to my editor, select my Lottie widget, come to advanced positioning. I'm going to make it inline auto. Under position, I'm going to make it absolute, and I'm going to just move it to the location where I want it to start from, appear from, and then I'll position it exactly how I want. That looks fine for me. Then I have to customize the animation as well. So over here, I'm going to say loop. Yeah, it's supposed to be looped. And the animation speed will be 1.5. Trigger, I'll leave it to be none. And the size is 200. 1.5 is actually too fast, so I'll just leave it to be 0.5. Okay, that is it. And then the alignment is center and render as SVG. I'll update. Now I can go and preview how that looks like. Alright, so now we're done with this section. Now I'll see you in the next section where we are going to be recreating this blog section.